Hi there, I'm Tammy Murphy, your candidate for Montgomery County Auditor. And recently I stumbled upon and I watched an episode of a podcast that featured a conversation between our current leadership in Montgomery County. Its leadership, its history, and where things were headed was their conversation. And I want to start by saying this. There are a lot of people in public service who genuinely care about this community, and that's important. But as I listened, something stood out to me. There was a lot of discussion about programs and partnerships and past successes, but very little about what people are dealing with right now. And that's where I want to take the conversation in a different direction. Because if you're a homeowner in Montgomery County, or if you're thinking about buying, or you're trying to hold on to that home that you already have, the conversation you need is not just about government. It's about how decisions are made at the county level and how it directly impacts you. Let's talk about one of the things that I believe is the biggest issue not being addressed clearly enough. Property taxes. Not in theory, not in policy language, but in real life. Because here's what's happening. A buyer qualifies for a home based on the purchase price, their loan terms, the property taxes at that time, and their insurance. Everything is calculated and everything makes sense. And then, a year later, or two, maybe three, the property taxes change. And it's not just a little, but it's enough to affect their affordability. And here's the part that doesn't get talked about enough. Your mortgage may be fixed, but your property taxes are not. And for homeowners, especially first-time buyers or those on fixed income, that change can feel like the ground shifted beneath them. Now let's be clear, this isn't about pointing fingers. There is a system in place. Property values are determined using what's called a mass appraisal, and that system is required under the Ohio Revised Code to ensure uniformity. But here's where the disconnect happens. The system is designed for consistency, not for clarity, and not for the lived experience of the homeowners. So while the system may be working as designed, it's not working as expected for the people living in it. In the conversation that I watched on that podcast, there was a discussion about preventing foreclosures during the recession. That was 2008 to 2012. And building programs to help people stay in their home. And that work was important. But here's the question that we need to ask today. What is putting pressure on homeowners now? Because today's challenge isn't the same as 2008. Today's challenge is rising property values that change their tax burden, and it's a lack of clear communication. And too many people are left trying to figure out on their own. This is where I believe leadership matters. Not just maintaining systems, but improving how they work for the people. Here's what I would focus on. Transparency. You should be able to clearly understand why your property is valued the way it is. The predictability. And no one should be surprised by a significant tax increase after purchasing a home. There should be better use of data. When a home sells in a legitimate transaction, that should be a key indicator in valuation, not something buried in a model. And communication. Imagine this, you buy a home and instead of guessing, you receive a clear explanation what your taxes are today and what they are likely to become, and why. That alone would change everything. And let's talk about something else that doesn't get enough attention. Owner occupancy and homestead benefits. These exist to help people stay in their homes, but too many people don't know about them, don't apply, or don't understand if they actually qualify. That's not a policy failure. That's an access and communication failure, and that can be fixed. Now, I'm not here to say that the whole system needs to be torn down, but I am here to say that it needs to work better, because at the end of the day, people don't expect perfection, but they do expect fairness, and they deserve predictability. So as these conversations continue, and they should, let's make sure we're asking the right questions. Not just, what is the county doing? But what does it mean for the people who live here? Because if you own a home in Montgomery County, you deserve to understand exactly how those decisions impact your life. And more importantly, you deserve a system that works for you.